Hello everyone and welcome back to a new tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make an advanced pet system like the one in Pet Simulator 99 and Pet Simulator X, where if you have as many pets as you want, they will be arranged in a grid like this, and your pets can also climb over stuff with raycasts. Before this video starts, if you guys want to support me and want to have access to all of my project files, including the one you're watching right now, they will all be available on my Patreon in the $10 tier. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to create a folder in the workspace, and we will call it player pets. Then what we're gonna do is we will add a script in server service, and we will call it pets server. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get player service, so players equals game get service players. And now we can have access to player added connect function, and that will take the player, and then players.player removing connect function, and that will also return the player. Okay, so what we need to do now is whenever a new player joins, we need to create a new folder kind of like this, and we'll call it the name of the player. So for me, it's going to be players prog. So to do that, what we're gonna do is in here we're gonna type in local pet folder. Local pet folder equals, actually what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a reference to the player pets. So player pets equals workspace.player pets, so that if you want to have it in somewhere else, you can just change this. Okay, so pet folder equals instance.new folder, and pet folder.name equals player.name, and then we're gonna do pet folder dot parent equals player pets. Now if you play the game, it should create a folder in player pets that is named your name, but now we need to remove it when the player leaves. So what we're gonna do is if player pets, actually local pet folder equals player pets, find first child player.name. So if we find the pet folder, so if pet folder is not equal to nil, then what we're gonna do, so if it is not equal to nothing, then we're just going to do pet folder destroy. Okay, so that should work and it should not leave any errors. Let's double check that. Okay, so the folder is there. If I leave, we can't really check, but it didn't leave any errors, so we know that that works. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we'll add a local script to starter player scripts, and we'll call it pet follower. Then what we're gonna do is get a couple of services. So the first one we're gonna need is run service. Game get service, run service, sorry. Then we will need players, so local players equals game get service players. Then the next one we're gonna need is replicated storage equals game get service replicated storage. And then we're gonna need to get the pet folder equals workspace wait for child player pets. I'm just going to start off by creating a couple of functions. So the first one is going to be local function rearrange tables, and the arguments that we're gonna have are pets, rows, and max row capacity. Okay, now we need to create another function, and this one is going to be called get row width. So local function get row width, and that's going to take the row and the pet. Okay, don't worry about these for now, but what we're gonna do now is run service heartbeat connect function, and that will take delta time, and we will leave it empty. Now what we need to do is to create a couple of variables here that you can change. So local spacing, so this is going to be the spacing between each pet, and I want it to be at 5 is a good amount. And local pet size is going to be 3. Local max climb height, you'll see what this is going to be used for. We're gonna let it at 6. Now local array params equals raycast params.new, and you can mess around with these later, but for now what I'm going to do is just get the array direction, and it will be vector3.new 0, -100, 0. or I think a better way to do this is just make this a bigger amount, so like 500. And down here in the heartbeat event, what we're gonna do is for underscore comma player pet folder, in pets folder, in where is it? Okay, so in pet folder, colon get children. Let's just call it pets folder. I think it's a more appropriate name. Pets folder, colon get children, do. And what we're gonna do is, if not players, colon find first child player pet folder dot name, then we're just going to return end, and then we're gonna have to get the character. So the character would be equal to players player pet folder dot name dot character, and if we don't find it, then players player pet folder dot name dot character added colon wait. Now, the next thing we need to do is to get the humanoid root part. So the humanoid root part will be equal to character colon wait for child humanoid root part, and then the humanoid. Then we need to check if the character is equal to nil. So if character equals nil, or humanoid root part equals nil, or humanoid equals nil, then we're just going to return end. So just return end. Okay, then we need a table. So this table will have every single pets that the player has. So local pets equals an empty table, and well, okay, what is this? Then I forgot to add a then here. Then return end. And what we're gonna do after getting the pets table, we will loop through every single pet in the player pet folder here. So let's do that for underscore comma pet or comma v in player pet folder colon get children do, and table.insert pets comma and v. Okay, now what we need to do is create a table for the rows, and that's going to be an empty table, of course. And what I want to do is put this in here. Sorry. Okay. Then what we need to do is to just do raycast params, or array params dot filter descendant instances equals, and we're just going to do pets folder comma character. Okay, now we need to calculate the max row capacity. So the max row capacity is actually very easy to calculate. We're just going to do max row capacity, and we're going to set that to math.ceil and math.square root, and we'll just type in how many pets we have, so hashtag pets. Now we need to call the rearrange tables function. You'll see what it does later. So rearrange tables, and we're just going to send the pets, the rows, and then the max row capacity. Then we will loop through each pet, but in the table this time, not the folder. So for I comma pet in pets do, and local row index is going to be equal to math.ceil, and we're going to do I divided by max row capacity this time, max row capacity. Then we're going to scroll down, and what I'm going to do is local row, we're going to get the actual row. So rows, square brackets, max row capacity. Oh, sorry. We're going to type in row index, and also in here I wanted to type in math.ceil. Sorry. Didn't mean to type in math.ceil. Then we need to get the row width, so local row width equals, and get row width, and that's going to take the pets, actually the row, and then the pet. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, so we need to calculate the x offset. So local x offset, it's going to be equal to hashtag, so if hashtag row is equal to 1, so if you only have one row, then it's going to be equal to 0. Or, so basically, I'll explain this. We're going to type it first. So, or row width divided by 2 minus pet dot primary part dot size dot x divided by 2. Okay, so if, so this pretty much means if we only have one row, then the x offset is going to be equal to 0, or else it's just going to be equal to this. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to get the x itself, the z, and then the y. The y is always going to be 0, and the z is going to be row index plus the row index. We're going to multiply it by spacing, and the x is going to be table.find row comma pet and -1 multiplied by spacing. Okay, so what we need to do now is shoot a raycast. So local ray result is going to be workspace colon blockcast. Also, I'm using blockcast instead of raycast. So it will take the pet.primary part.cframe plus vector3.new max climb height on the y. So we're not going to be shooting from the pet straight down. We're going to be shooting from over the pet, so that if something gets in the way, it will still climb over it. And then it will take the pet's primary part size, so how big the ray is going to be or how thick it's going to be, and then the ray direction, which we defined here, and then the array params. Okay, so then we need to check for the ray result. So if ray result, then y is going to be equal to ray result dot position dot y plus pet dot primary part dot size dot y divided by 2. Okay, so now that we have everything that we need, we just need to create a target C-frame. Now this one is going to be quite complicated to type, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it here. So target C-frame is going to be equal to cframe.new humanoid root part.cframe.x, 0, humanoid root part.cframe.z, and we're going to multiply it by humanoid root part.cframe.rotation, and we're going to multiply it by cframe.new x offset, x minus x offset, and the y and the z. Here's how the full line of code looks. This is how it looks if you want to write it. Okay, so now we just need to load the pet. So pet dot primary part dot c frame is going to be equal to pet dot primary part dot c frame colon lerp, and that's going to take the target c frame, and a good value is 0.1. Now we need to script these two functions over here. So the first one, rearrange tables, is going to go like this. So we'll clear the row. So we're going to clear the rows, and then we're going to get the amount of rows that we have, and we'll loop through every row, and then we will just insert a new row, and then we're just going to insert the pets into the appropriate row. Then we're gonna script the get row width function. So we're gonna first of all check if pet is not equal to nil. Then, and we're gonna get the spacing between each pet, and it's going to be equal to spacing minus pet primary part dot size dot x. And now we need to get the row width. It's just going to be an empty variable. We'll fill it out in the function. So if row equals 1, then we're just going to return 0. Now we need to loop through the row. Okay, so if I is not equal to row, then to hashtag row, then row width plus equal pet dot primary part dot size dot x plus spacing between pets. Else row width plus equal pet dot primary part dot size dot x. Then we're just going to return a row width. Okay, so with that, I think we should be good to go. We'll test this out with a pet. Let's just make a simple pet really quick. We're going to set the size of this part to 2,2,2, and I'm just going to make sure that it's anchored, and I'm going to make it into a model, and I'm going to set its primary part to the part itself and make sure that the part is not collidable. Then we'll play the game. So I'm going to take the model, place it here, and as you can see, it works. And if I duplicate it, as you can see, it works like how PetSimX does it. It will just keep on duplicating infinitely, and it will of course center the pets on the back. So if you have 3 pets on the back, they will be centered. If you have more, they will also be centered. Okay, so now we need to script the server. Okay, so I'm going to add a module script, and I'm going to call it pet module. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get players. So local players equals game can't get service players. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get replicated storage. Then I want to get the replicated storage pet folder. I'm going to create a folder and it's going to be called pets, and this is where you will be storing all of your pets from the game. So I'm going to take this pet and I'm going to put it here. Okay, so local pets folder or local pets equals replicated storage dot pets. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is function module dot equip pet, and it will take the player and the pet name. Okay, so local pet equals pet, find first child pet name. If pet equals nil, then we're just going to return and then we'll just do local pet clone equals pet clone, and pet clone dot parent equals workspace dot player pets square brackets player dot name. Okay, so that should work, but we also need to position it. So pet clone dot primary pivot 2, and we're just going to set it to player dot character dot humanoid root player dot cframe. Now we're gonna have a function for unequipping the pets, function module dot unequip pet, and it's going to take the player and the pet name, of course. So same thing here, and just actually we don't need to copy that. We're just going to do local pet equals or space dot player pets square brackets player find first child pet name, and we're just going to take to check if pet equals nil. Then we're just going to return and then we're just going to destroy the pet. So pet colon destroy. Now I'll show you how to make the pets before we actually test this. So if you have, let's say we have a pet, okay? It's composed of 2 parts or more, or let's just say 3 parts. Okay, so I'm just going to move the first part of the pet up here, and I'm just going to put it here. Then I'll just make it red. Then I'm going to take the other part and I'll just put it over here, and I'll just make this one about this big. Okay, so let's say that this is our pet. What I'm going to do is select a primary part. So let's say it's going to be this. Right click on it and click show orientation indicator, and you'll see where the front surface is, and this is where your pet is going to be facing. If it doesn't work, then you can just add in a part, make it transparent, and cover the entire pet with it. So just make a part that will like cover the whole pet. I'm just going to do that real quick. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'll just right click and show orientation indicator, and as you can see, that's the front surface. If not, just rotate it, but I'll just put it back because it was correct. And let's say this is going to be our primary part. Make it transparent, make sure that can collide is unchecked, and make sure that anchored is checked. Now we need to make sure that all of the other parts are not anchored, so make sure that anchored is unchecked on the other parts and can collide is unchecked. Now we need to just rename this to primary, and we will need to weld everything to it. So add a weld constraint. Part 0 is always going to be the actual primary part. Part 0 is going to be primary part, and part 1 is going to be the first part. Duplicate it. Part 2 is going to be the other part. Duplicate it again. Part 1 is going to be the other part. Okay, now we need to call this pet, and select it and set the primary part to the primary. Now just put it somewhere. So I'm just going to put it in the pets folder. And what I'm going to do is in the pet server here, when the player joins, I'm going to wait about 5 seconds, and I'm going to go from 1, so for I equals from 1 to maybe 7 pets. We're going to require the module. So this is how you're going to be using the pet module. Local pet module equals require game service script service dot pet module, and then what we're gonna do is pet module dot equip pet player, comma, make sure it's player not players, comma, and I'm just going to type in pet, so the pet name, and I'm going to wait 1 second before each new pet. And after that's all done, then we're gonna start unequipping the pets. So we're gonna wait 5 seconds or 6. I'm gonna paste that in, and this time it's going to be unequipped pet. Okay, let's see if that works. After 5 seconds, it should start equipping the pets. Let's see. Will it work? I don't think it did. Pivot is not a valid member of pets. Okay, so here's the issue. In here I typed in pets. In here you should just type in pet, clone, not pets. Now let's play the game and see if that works. So after 5 seconds I should get a new pet, and yes, it does work. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine. And after all of the pets are spawned, it should start removing them. Okay, so we have a problem here. Can't find first child pet name. Let's just go back here. Workspace dot player pets square brackets player dot name. Sorry, and here we should do square brackets player dot name. Now it works. Let's wait 5 seconds, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. We can even mess around with the settings here on the pet follower, where you can change the spacing, the pet size, and the max climb height. Oh, I forgot to show you guys this. How can I forget about this? I'm just going to make a simple set of stairs, and the pet will climb over it. Hopefully. At least that's what's supposed to happen. I'm just going to do this, this, and we'll just play the game and see how that looks. Okay, so after getting the pets, as you can see, if I just do this, the pets climbed over it, as you can see. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I think this is going to be it for today's tutorial. If this helped, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!